With me now, Kevin Kariuki. Thank you so much for your time, sir, as Vice President of the African Development Bank. Give me a sense of your impressions of the environment here at COP27, otherwise dubbed the Africa COP.
I think from my perspective, my impression is that it has been a successful COP27, or what we prefer to call the African COP, simply because from the bank perspective, we have been able to introduce two very transformative initiatives. One is the climate action window, which is intended to mobilize significant amount of resources for ADF countries for purposes of addressing climate action in terms of adaptation and mitigation. And secondly, the event that we've had just this morning, the launch of the Alliance for Green Instructure for Africa. For me, AGIA is an idea whose time is now. We are confronted by significant climate crisis, and therefore it's imperative that our future infrastructure must be sustainable and resilient to climate change.
Two highlights on AGIA are the time frame in terms of execution of projects, 3 to 4 years, which now is a far cry from the lengthy infrastructure projects we've seen to date. And secondly, the fact that this is very much focused in the green space. It's all about renewable energy. To you, are those the unique selling propositions to the international community?
Indeed. First of all, we say private capital is indeed very impatient. So it does not help when you have a project that takes 7 years, 8 years, or 9 years to develop. What we need are, investors want to be able to build their power plants, build their infrastructure, and start earning their return as soon as possible. So for me, the fact that we are almost guaranteeing or will be taking on projects with short timelines makes eminent sense. And the second bit is what you just said, the fact that these projects are going to be renewable. And it is only right, because Africa has tremendous amounts of renewable energy sources, most of which remains untapped. Let me give you, for example, solar power. Africa has 40% of the global solar power, amounting to 10 terawatts of capacity. That's number one. Hydro, we have 350 gigawatts of hydro, of which less than 7% has been harnessed. Of course, then we have geothermal, 15 gigawatt hours, 15 gigawatts, I beg your pardon, and wind, 115 gigawatts. All these can anchor a low carbon development trajectory for Africa. And that's why I do believe that AGIA is an idea whose time has come, because it brings us to the confluence of climate action as well as developing our infrastructure projects, to bridge infrastructure projects in a sustainable and climate resilient manner, especially knowing that today Africa's climate change is locked in for the next 20 years, which means we must ensure that the infrastructure we develop on this continent are resilient to the impact of climate change.
Kevin Kariuki, thank you so much for joining us, Vice President of the African Development Bank.
My pleasure.